Hello, writer, and welcome back to my life. Writer Wednesday, where I give you my tips and advice on the art and the business of writing and tell you how I do what I do as an indie author. Today's question comes from my patron, Kristen Stevens, who asks, how to edit cheaply? That is the entire question, and appropriately so, because, boy, that is a question. So I am obliged to point out at the beginning that editing cheaply is a last resort, because a lot of people, learn how to edit cheaply, or they see videos or instructions on how to edit cheaply, and they decide that they don't need an editor, or that they can pay very low rates for an editor, even though they can afford a proper one. That is not the correct attitude. You should always be paying for a good, top quality, professional editor if you can. Always, period, no further qualifiers. However, I am aware that a lot of indie authors, especially when starting out, cannot afford to pay for a proper editor. And just so you know, like, a good editor is going to charge you 2 or 3 or even 5 cents per word. And that cost can stack up really quickly. And if you actually want to be serious about this, if you actually want to turn this into a career, you need to be doing that. And so I will say at the beginning that if you do have to start out self-editing or editing cheaply or any of these things that I'm going to talk about in the video, what I want you to promise me you're going to do is you're going to take every single dollar that your book earns, put it in a bank account that you are not allowed to touch, or under your mattress, I don't give a fuck, and the instant that you can hire a proper editor with that money, you do so. And then you get to keep all of the rest of the money that the book earns. But for now, you're just saving up for a proper edit, okay? Good, now that I have your agreement, we'll talk about how to edit cheaply when you're just starting out, which is something I have quite some experience with. So, like, the full disclosure on my end, my first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books were all entirely self-edited. No, that's not true, because when Nightblade Mystic and Darkfire first came out, they were also self-edited, so my first 10 books. But now, all of the Underrealm novels have been properly edited by a proper editor. And I have not gone back and edited the earlier books because they're not really, I don't know, they're there, but they're not really there. I don't really sell them, I don't really market them. Those are my learning books, and I've left them up so that people can sort of like see the developmental journey, but I don't think, they're just sort of there, but they're not really there. Also, it is inaccurate to say that my first 10 books were all entirely self-edited, because 2 of my books, the fantasy series that I did before Underrealm, the Realm Keeper series, the 2 books Midrealm and Wormspire, were not self-edited, they were edited in collaboration. And that is the first big tip. If you are working with a collaborator, but bottom line, with no other work, with no other steps done, your self-editing is going to be 5, 10 times better than actual self-editing. The most important thing to remember about editing is that you need another pair of eyes. It doesn't matter how good your spelling and grammar is, because I would say that my spelling and grammar is better than 99.5% of people in America. And that means nothing. It doesn't mean nothing, but it means very little when I'm editing my own books, because they're mine. I am too deeply invested in them to see all of my errors. And I know this because I have worked with enough other authors and am working with other Underrealm authors right now, where I look at their work and I edit it and I see everything, because I am a different set of eyes than theirs. I am a much better editor of other people's work than I am of my own. So with this as the single most important, stable thing that you should remember when doing editing, a collaborator is great, because even if you're collaborating with someone whose spelling and grammar isn't up to your level, they're another pair of eyes. They are going to see things in your work that you will just never see. And you will see things in their work that they will never see. And the most wonderful thing about working as a collaboration is that you get all types of editing at once. The person is there for the development, the person is there for the line edit, and the copy edit. It is frankly shocking to me how good Midrealm and Wormspire are in terms of the editing, because it was done in collaboration. They're still not perfect, and we are actually planning on going back and re-editing those, because we want to continue that series. It's actually decently marketable, but they're really, really good because we were working together. And that is ironic, because Z.C. Bolger, my co-author on that series, it will be the first one to tell you that his spelling and grammar are not stellar. They're not great. I'm the spelling and grammar guy, but because we were working together, we caught so many things in each other's work that the other one would never have seen on their own. Okay, so collaboration is, in my mind, the best method of editing cheaply. What's another option? The next best option is to borrow what is best about collaboration and apply it in a different way. And that is to trade editing with someone. If you just really want to work on your own and you don't, you have got your own book and you don't want anybody else sticking their grubby little fingers into it except as an editor, find someone else who feels the exact same way as you do, and you edit their book and they edit your book. And you might be tempted to say, well, that sounds like stupid and dumb and a waste of time. Why don't I just edit my own book and they edit their own book? Well, because of what I just said. You will see things in their book that they will never see, and they will see things in yours that you will never see. This practice is a lot less popular in the indie author world than I think it should be. I mean, we all love to look at the indie slush pile and say, ugh, it's people like that that give indie publishing a bad name. When, like, it would be so easy for just every indie author in the world to just team up, find a partner, pick a buddy, in the crowd, and work on each other's books together. I mean, it's just, you're self-editing anyway. Why not self-edit and get a better edit out of it? It just means that you actually have to work with another person. Oh, I get why people don't do that. Anyway, this would be the second best option, to find another indie author with similar tastes and similar, somebody you can work with, and you edit their book and they edit your book. That gets a little bit dicey because, like, what if you finish their book in a week and they take 6 weeks to finish your book? I guess you just have to find somebody who, you can rely on and who's trustworthy. Boy, I actually really understand why this doesn't happen more often. The final method of editing cheaply is taking your life in your own hands and going out and trying to find somebody who will edit your book on the cheap. I have done this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do this. There are certain individuals out there who make a real good name for themselves by editing lots of people's books and being so affordable. Don't work with these people. Okay, I don't know every single one of these people out there. Maybe there's someone out there who edits tons of people's books and does it so super cheaply and they're able to make up for in volume what they don't charge you. Every single one that I have encountered who works that way I did not enjoy working with them. These people are very likely to, first of all, miss errors in your books. And second, they are probably going to take a very, very long time. What happens is these people will take on 10 books at once because they're only charging $300 per book, but they need to then do all 10 books in 1 month in order to pay their rent and eat. And so you are one of 10 books that's going to be done in about 3 days, and nobody can handle that. Nobody can do a good level of quality with that. And so what's going to happen is you're probably going to be bumped to the back of the line and it's going to take forever and you're not going to be happy with the final product. Because if you could find the magical holy grail editor out there who will take your book and edit it to a very good professional level of quality on the super cheap, they would be so swamped with work that they would immediately raise their prices. That's why this person doesn't exist out there. Please don't support this business model. It's bad. Okay, I got passionate in this one. My apologies. A big thank you again to patron Kristen Stevens for this week's question. I hope you found the answer helpful. I happen to know that you're already doing the first option that I listed in this video, so well done on that. For everyone else, I will remind you that my $5 patrons on Patreon, like Kristen, get these videos 2 weeks in advance and are also the only ones who can request topics for me to cover in future videos. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out my Patreon right down there. You can also see the entire playlist of all of my Writer Wednesday videos right up there. I hope you enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye!